Morning. How are you?
Okay. I think.
It's best to move as little as possible.
Oh, the ambush. Now I remember. How'd I get here?
We heard the firing. One of our men found you.
What happened to my papers? My cameras and the rest of my equipment?
You did not have any cameras when we found you.
No cameras? What do you mean I didn't have any cameras? I was doing a patrol story. What do you think we're on the patrol?
All right, don't get excited. You must do as you're told. You must be very still. Remember that you are still alive. You have much to be grateful for.
I guess you're right. What is this place?
The mission in Kampala.
Run by that Italian doctor who went bush happy? Well, that's what they told me in the capital.
The city breeds many fools.
I meant to get here in my own 2 legs.
Please?
The patrol. They were coming to relieve you.
From whom? From what?
The rebels, of course.
Ah, the signs are that they're coming to relieve us, too.
Who's winning?
The wards are full.
Now, look, nurse.
Now rest.
Would you send someone to look for my cameras?
I will see.
I wouldn't want anything to happen to my cameras.
All right. Now go to sleep.
Yes.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
This is Kampala mission. It has suddenly become very important to us. With the success of our ambush last night, we could move into it without much opposition. Your job, Lieutenant, is to reconnoiter the position and see what resistance there may be.
How far away are their government troops reported to be?
Intelligence reports them to be around this line here, which, as you see, is some distance from the mission. Our advance is being made from here, so that the mission, as you see, is midway between the 2 armies.
Do we destroy it?
No. No, it is not to be destroyed. We are to take it over as a base hospital. We must avoid fighting if we can. We want it fully operational for medical purposes, and we want it urgently. This man, Moretti, who is in charge, could be a great asset to us. He is a very good doctor.
Major, we have our own doctors.
Dr. Moretti is a specialist in jungle diseases. Apart from that, he is held in high regard by the peasants throughout this whole area.
These people are not important. They have no minds of their own.
Exactly. That is why we need this man's cooperation. He is not to be antagonized in any way. The task of your patrol is to see how this mission can be taken bloodlessly.
If we're attacked?
Then withdraw. Remember, this is purely reconnaissance. It should only take you a couple of hours. But be back by dawn, understood?
Comrade Major.
Stop, stop!
Can't sleep?
Not much.
Wound hurting?
A bit.
Please, no heroics.
All right, it hurts.
Well, that's good. If it didn't hurt, you'd be in trouble. That would mean the nerves were damaged. Oh, you'll be as good as new.
Look, Doctor, when do I get out of here?
When I say so.
I'm a war correspondent. I have no intention of being detained here.
And I've no intention of detaining you longer than is absolutely necessary. I'm short of beds. Oh, here's your government pass. I got the blood off as best I could.
You're Moretti. Emilio Moretti.
That's right. The Italian doctor who went bush happy.
Doctor, I thought you ran an independent medical mission.
I do.
That cap on the wall over there. That's not part of a government uniform. These men you're looking after, they
are sick, like you. Like the nationalist soldier over there.
Sorry. For a minute, I thought maybe you were committed.
Oh, I am. I'm committed to giving their health back to the sick,
No matter how they lost it?
no matter what they do with it when they have it again.
And even though they go on killing one
Look,
another?
I'm a doctor, not a politician. And the more you arrest Mr. Strait, the sooner you'll get out of here.
It's a little groggy. How am I doing?
I think you should try it without my help.
There's no pleasing some people.
No, really. You must try it by yourself. Come on.
Okay, nurse. You're the boss.
Now you're making fun of me.
No, not really. Tell me, what's your name? Well, I mean, I can't go on calling you nurse now that I'm really not a patient, can I?
It's Sue-on.
Sue what?
No, Sue-on.
Oh, Sue-on. That's nice. I like that. But why did the orderly want me to call you my Oi?
He told you that?
Yes. Why, is that rude or something?
Oh, no.
Well, then,
Excuse me.
well, what did I say now?
Huh?
Well, one of the orderlies suggested that I call her my Oi.
Oh, well, you're doing very well then.
Well, what does it mean?
It's Viet for Carissima, or darling.
Oh, now I see.
I must warn you, she's a very dedicated young lady.
Wait till I get my hands on that orderly. I was just going to ask her to show me around.
Yes, well, would I be a substitute?
Let's say an alternative.
Well, come then. There's not very much to show you. There's a ward over there, exactly the same as your own. Well, here's the dispensary and outpatients.
How do you make out for supplies?
Oh, we manage. That's my room in there. That's where I sleep and work. We're a bit short of modern drugs, but every now and then some foundation or individual with a guilt complex, they send us a donation. Oh, we manage.
Hey. Well, what do you know? A vintage box camera. Is it loaded?
Yes, I think so, but it's a bit primitive for you, Mr. Strait.
Oh, I don't know. You can take a lot of good pictures with these. Hey, mind if I borrow it?
Oh.
I feel a little strange without a camera.
Oh, please, go ahead. Now, come along. I'll show you the rest of the Kampala mission. Well, you might do a story on us.
Why not?
But it's a very good idea. Who knows? It might speed up the flow of donations. Well, perhaps in time we might even be able to afford a better camera. Now, here's the operating theater.
Lighting equipment's rather primitive, isn't it?
Oh, it's enough. Oh, yes, you'd be surprised, Mr. Strait. We've learned to operate here on a shoestring.
And that shoestring is charity?
Yes, and the goodwill of former patients. They house us, they clothe us, they provide us with food.
Wages?
What would we do with wages? There's nothing to spend them on up here.
Yes, but drugs, equipment, dressing?
Well, the Red Cross do what they can.
How about the government?
No, there was talk of a grant some years ago, but the conditions were... No, this way we're answerable to no one. You think it's small, huh? Well, you should have seen how it started. Just the one hut. That one. All that's the living quarters.
Was there a school in those days?
No, it's just grown with the years. All these nurses have been trained at the Christian Training College at the capital.
And now?
Well, now they want to pass on their knowledge to their own people. Well, the school's over.
They look like a happy bunch.
No, they are.
Hey, baseball. Who taught them that?
Well, I'm afraid I'm guilty, but I can't remember all the rules.
Oh, maybe I could coach them sometime.
Mind your arm.
Why did you come here?
To work.
I think that's only part of an answer. After all, you're practically a legend. You must know how people talk about you.
What do they say?
Well, they say
That I'm off my head.
some of them. But then maybe they feel the same way I do. They simply can't understand why a highly fashionable Italian surgeon would give up a very successful career to come here.
Because he remembered, a little late perhaps, why he became a doctor. You see, my life was getting too involved. I was distracted.
By success?
Success, society, politics. Now I'm just a doctor.
And that's enough.
Oh, more than enough, believe me. There's more than enough out here.
What about now?
What do you mean?
10 miles from here, on the other side of you, Doctor, two armies are fighting each other. Now, one or the other is bound to take over this district, perhaps the whole country. Do you really think they'll let you continue your work?
Why not? Whichever side wins will find themselves face to face with the real enemies.
Namely?
Poverty, ignorance, disease. It doesn't matter, Mr. Straight, which side defeats the other. Believe me, I know politicians well enough. Either side will be only too happy to leave us to deal with the poor and the uneducated and the sick.
I hope you're right.
I'm sure I am. Excuse me. Let's get on with my work.
I see you're well enough to be back at your work, Mr. Straight.
Best cure in the world for me. Hold it. Make a very pretty picture.
You make a prettier picture if you pull that up.
This equipment's a little too simple for me.
The vehicles will come in here and here. Within 30 seconds of my signal, the mission should be ours. Remember, speed, but no bloodshed.
If there's resistance, Major.
There will be none, if we're fast enough and your reconnaissance is correct. Oh, one more thing. The men have had a hard campaign, but I want to be sure you behave correctly. Once Moretti has been shown to cooperate with us willingly, until then, no excesses.
Check and mate.
Oh, now, wait a minute. I thought you said you were out of practice.
I'll tell you the trouble with you, my friend. You play with your heart and not with your head.
Come on, one more game, huh?
No, it's too late.
Well, now, wait a minute.
Come on, you had your orders. Bad.
But, well, how about tomorrow?
Yeah, sure. We'll have a game tomorrow.
Good night, Doctor.
Night.
Good night, you both. Sleep well.
Thanks again for the chess. Here.
Oh, keep it.
No, you're cold.
No, it's not that. It's very quiet tonight. I'm frightened.
By the forces of liberation?
No, don't. I was from the north. My family was liberated 2 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
We were poor. As children, we used to be always hungry. At 14, my father was already old. Of course, we welcomed the new order. Then we realized we were as poor as ever. They had given us nothing but brave words.
Get back.
The glorious People's Army brings you liberation. We want no violence. The glorious People's Army brings you liberation. Please cooperate with us. Fighting, fighting. Fighting, fighting. The glorious People's Army brings you liberation. Everybody will assemble here. We want no violence.
Careful.
Go in.
You heard instructions. You go.
Now, wait a minute.
Quiet.
Of course, we all know the good work of this medical mission. Your reputation is very high among us. You will be free to continue your work without any hindrance. You will now have facilities granted to you, and every effort will be made to see that you are short of nothing. You will also see a great change in the way you're treated. Now we're here to protect you. The glorious People's Army brings you liberation.
Good. Well, now perhaps I can get on with my work. Come, Swamp.
Deal with that doctor quickly. Show him who's master. You must establish your relationship from the beginning.
I will deal with him as I see fit, Comrade Lieutenant.
But if you don't
Lieutenant! I am still in charge of this expedition. Ah, Mr. Straight. I trust my men are looking after you?
Thoroughly.
Please sit down. A glass of sake?
Thank you.
Cigarette?
Yes, I seem to have misplaced mine.
A necessity? Of course. Let me first return your possessions to you. They are all in order?
They seem to be.
Please check them.
Yes, they're all here.
Splendid.
Now, are you convinced?
Convinced? Convinced about what?
That I am a bona fide correspondent.
Of course. I'm sorry it was ever necessary to doubt you.
Me too.
Mr. Straight, you must appreciate we are fighting a quite unscrupulous enemy who have used reporters, even priests, as agents before now. It's now only natural that my men were a little suspicious, overzealous perhaps. No more than that, though.
Quite.
We understand each other? Good.
Well, I'm free to go then?
Of course. Oh, by the way, Mr. Straight, it has occurred to me you have an opportunity apparently very few Western journalists have had before.
Which is?
Simply to observe at first hand the methods of the new order. Up to date, the press has lent rather heavily on quite unfounded slander.
I don't guarantee to redress that balance.
You have a reputation to print the truth, Mr. Straight.
I try.
That's all I'm asking you to do.
You'll impose no restrictions?
Other than those of military security.
Of course. But you will forward my dispatches.
Exactly as they've been written. Mr. Straight, we know our own integrity. We have every confidence in yours.
Very well.
Excellent. Let us start first by visiting the doctor. I'm sure you'll be quite surprised to learn how liberal our proposals are.
There you are. Now, you'll find that doesn't hurt you anymore. Bring her back to see me tomorrow. It's all right. Good morning, Major. Good morning, my friend.
Doctor?
I must thank you for what you did last night. Come along, I better do something about that cut of yours.
Yes, it could stand a little attention.
You will be pleased to know that Mr. Straight and I now see eye to eye with each other.
I've been released by our generous captor.
Doctor, I am to extend to you the personal greetings of President Thiel.
How kind, especially as I don't know him.
The President regrets not having had the opportunity of meeting you, but thanks you for the good work that you're doing, with which, of course, he is familiar.
How?
Rest assured, Doctor, your mission will receive the full support of the new order once it's established. I am to make a full list of your requirements, and they shall be met in the future.
Well, that's the best news I've had since the nationalist government made me the same proposal.
There are, however, temporary measures,
Of course.
which we regret are more immediate. All medical supplies and accommodation will be reserved for the glorious heroes of the new People's Army. You will discontinue all treatment of civilians until further orders.
Is that all?
This will put an end to certain irregularities,
Such as?
allowing the nurses to spread their superstitions, the use of Western literature as propaganda, the encouragement of the imperialist attitude to sport.
I think the Major's referring to baseball, Doctor.
These, of course, are the product of the conditions under which you worked, but we need say no more now your civilian activities have ceased.
And the patients I have here now?
We will, of course, show them our usual leniency. You may treat anyone who is actually in your ward.
Very considerate of you.
You must simply close the outpatient section and not admit any new patients to the ward.
Until you say so.
I am glad I've made myself clear. Good. To an honorable association.
Good morning. Good morning. Now then, my friend, don't be silly. Come along now, all of you, and don't be afraid. That's the way. Come in, little girl. Now, what's the matter with you?
Believeth all things, hopeth all things, and endureth all things. Charity never faileth, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. For we know in part.
Here, wait a minute. Let me show you something. Oh, here. Hold that, would you, Jeffrey? Thanks. Honey, you got to keep the bat. Here, let me show you. You're keeping it up on your shoulder too long. You've got to get it down in here. The ball about waist high. Pitcher, okay? All right. Take, Rebecca!
Mr. Straight, I'm sadly disappointed in you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Then let me enlighten you. You were present when Dr. Moretti agreed to the terms of which we occupied the mission?
I was present when you told them what they were.
Don't let's quibble. They were clear?
Quite.
Good. Then how do you account for the fact that every one of those conditions has been flouted in the last few hours? Ah! Reactionary! Coward! You didn't dare defy me openly. You sheltered behind innocent people.
So that's it.
That wasn't very brave, Mr. Straight. That wasn't very clever. The nurses, the doctor, you didn't expect us to believe they would defy us like that without a leader, did you?
Is there any use in me saying...
No use at all.
And what are you going to do? Shoot me?
What? And make a martyr of you? No. Make a full confession of your crimes and you'll be sentenced to a period of re-education. That's all.
And if I don't?
You wouldn't force us to use disciplinary measures against your followers, I'm sure.
Let's get this right. You'll punish them if I don't confess. Is that the deal?
If you aren't responsible, they must be, mustn't they? I've prepared a confession for you to sign. All you have to do, sign it, and there will be no more unpleasantness.
I can't understand this. Do you have a translation?
I assure you, it is quite in order.
Sorry. No.
We can be patient, Mr. Straight. You will have ample time to reconsider. Michael Tutu.
All right. Ali? Go assist. Put the dressing on this. The American, he's been arrested.
I know.
What is he supposed to have done?
Not supposed, I'm afraid. The American is a foreign agent.
That is ridiculous.
I know, I found it hard to believe too, but there is no doubt. He was placed here with the express object of involving you in seditious action.
What proof have you?
This confession here. He encouraged your staff to disregard my orders.
Let me see.
Certainly.
He's not signed it.
He will. There are other copies.
They can be torn up too. You know these charges are false.
They will be proved with or without your help.
It was I, not Straight, who ordered my staff to carry on.
You agreed to my terms.
I did not.
But you said...
I said I understood them. I did not say that I agreed with them.
I see. Doctor, you must understand my situation. Your mission is good, but it existed in a bad regime.
A regime to which I never subscribed.
But you never resisted.
Politics are not my business.
Politics are everybody's business. Doctor, we need your cooperation. You know how backward these people are. You must be shown to acknowledge at least some of our doctrine.
I refuse to be involved politically.
Doctor, I am offering you an excuse for your lack of cooperation. Accept it.
At the expense of the American, I can't.
I urge you.
No. No.
You're under arrest.
On what charge?
Crimes against the people. The penalty is death.
My poor fellow. My poor, poor fellow.
Action at last.
I am glad I have your approval, Comrade Lieutenant. So you see, Mr. Straight, we can admit when we're wrong. We were wrong about you. I owe you an apology. We have been wrong about you all the time.
Took you long enough to find that out.
I'm sorry you were falsely accused, but things did look black against you. My only excuse is that I did not want to think any ill of the doctor.
Oh, I see. So now you're letting me off the hook and putting him on it. Is that it?
Not at all. We've yet to have our inquiry.
Well, if he gets the same kind of treatment I got, my guess is you'll frame him.
That is a wild accusation, Mr. Straight. In spite of the gravity of Dr. Moretti's offense, he will be given a fair trial.
That I would like to see.
So you shall, Mr. Straight. So you shall. Come with me.
What kind of a fiasco is this going to be? Moretti's no politician. He's a good man and a doctor.
He's a very clever man, Mr. Straight, and a doctor. We intend to find out what else he is.
Who do you think you're kidding? Him? Yourself?
Like the rest of your race, Mr. Straight, you're prejudiced from the start.
Prejudiced? You don't have to be prejudiced to know that a man like Moretti is on the level. This whole thing's a mockery, this trial. You're not even going to fool the peasants.
You may be surprised, Mr. Straight.
Silence! The People's Court is in session. Bring out the prisoner.
Adi.
You heard the charges brought against you by the People's Democracy. How do you plead? Did you hear the question?
Yes, I heard the question.
Then answer.
If I did, there are one or two people here, one or two foolish people, who might think this was a proper trial.
We assume your silence to be a plea of not guilty. Very well.
You take orders from the prisoner.
As a nurse?
Please answer yes or no.
Well, yes.
You admit to reading the children this
Yes.
habitually,
Whenever I could.
and you are under Dr. Moretti's orders.
As a doctor,
Thank
but...
you.
Your next witness.
You have made a study of Western propaganda.
Yes, it was very wrong of me.
You'll have a chance to repent elsewhere. Just answer the questions.
Yes, Comrade President.
What form did this take?
Books mostly.
Is this one of them?
Yes, it was.
What is it called?
A history of Western philosophy.
Open it. Is there a name written on the flyleaf?
Yes.
Whose name is it?
The name is Emilio Moretti.
You may go.
You can't be serious.
Sister Sue Ong. 2 years ago, you left the People's Democracy.
Yes.
On a visit?
Yes.
You believe that Dr. Moretti was here to help our people?
Yes.
Do you believe that now?
No.
What opened your eyes? Was it his conduct since we came here? Was it his conduct since we came here?
Yes.
Did he encourage separatism, open defiance of our orders? Did he continue to propound false and corrupt values?
Sister, as a member of a family loyal to the people's democracy, you must answer.
He did.
That is the case for the people's democracy, Comrade President.
Thank you.
I understand.
Suhan, why?
Mr. Strait, I won't allow you to tamper with the witnesses. If you wish to address the court,
What court?
would you like to address us?
Yes.
No.
Yes, I do.
Very well.
I've heard of travesties of justice in my
Name
time.
and status, please.
You know very well.
Let us observe correct procedure.
Michael Strait, journalist.
Proceed.
You have nothing against this man, and you know it. So he lent somebody a history of Western philosophy. All right, so he lent me a copy of Essential Left as well. And he didn't direct the teachings of the nurses. He simply allowed it, just as he's always allowed political freedom with all of his staff and his patients. And as for that girl's testimony, I don't know how you managed that. But it's so vague as to be laughable, even if it were true.
Mr. Strait, please. You don't help me by pleading for me here.
Well, somebody has to say something.
Nothing you say can make the smallest difference. Don't you understand this is a farce? Laugh at it. If you treat it seriously, it becomes a trial. Now, please, I beg you, say nothing.
Have you finished, Mr. Strait?
Yes.
Is there anything you wish to say, Doctor? Well?
I don't admit to any crimes. I don't admit that this is a proper trial. So what am I to say to you?
As you are guilty and unrepentant, I have no alternative left but to sentence you to be shot. The sentence will be carried out tomorrow. But do you want to die? Then sign. All you have to do is sign. Instead of being shot, you would be sentenced to a period of re-education. 1 year. 2 maybe, no more. You could serve it here. Yes. Yes. I could arrange that for you. All you have to do is sign. It need hardly interfere with your work at all. You do want to continue, don't you? You are a dedicated doctor?
Yes. I am a doctor. But I'm also a man. A free man. And for my decisions, I must answer to myself. Now listen, Major. I belonged to a country where the people were told what they could do, what they could think. I would not accept that. So I went away. I left my home, my country, my own people. You understand what that means? I was a young man then. And now you come to me. And you give me the same orders. What to do, what to think. The same. Oh, yes, your phrases are different. Your ideology. Your objectives, perhaps. But between your methods, there is nothing to choose. It's the same situation. Only I am different. I'm too old now to be pushed about anymore. I must make my stand here or suffer my own personal defeat. So you see, Major, I cannot sign your piece of paper. I cannot sign it.
Radio message from headquarters.
Take this man back to his hut. When did these arrive?
A few minutes ago.
No.
Perhaps you didn't hear me, Major. This is from headquarters. You have no choice in the matter. They are urgent and immediate. In the circumstances, may I suggest...
Comrade Lieutenant, I am still in command. I will do as I think best.
I consider it my duty to make sure these instructions are obeyed, comrade. If you have difficulty in carrying them out...
Lieutenant, you have done all that is required of you.
What is this?
Mr. Straight, I need your help. This evening I received new instructions from our headquarters. I am ordered to withdraw from this mission at dawn.
Well?
I was instructed to withdraw and have Dr. Moretti shot.
Why are you telling me this?
The doctor must be allowed to escape.
Is it another one of your tricks?
No.
Don't tell me you've had a change of heart.
I believe in what I have always believed in. The good of my own doctrines. Dr. Moretti believes in his. I respect him for this. I see no useful purpose can be served by his death.
I've always understood your people believe the end justifies the means.
I did not come here to argue, Mr. Straight.
Then why did you come here?
These instructions have been seen by one other person.
Lieutenant Hang?
Yes.
He's a dedicated man, Major. He'd show no mercy. I'm sure he'd like nothing better than to have the doctor shot.
I think so, too.
What do you want me to do?
The doctor must be ready to leave.
When?
At 2 o'clock.
This morning?
Of course. We have very little time.
What about the mission? The children, the nurses, the patients. Moretti's not going to want to leave them in your hands.
The patients who will need his attention can go with him. My own soldiers who are receiving his treatment go with us. He can take his nurses and anyone else whose life he thinks is in danger. You, of course, will go too, Mr. Straight.
Just how do you plan this escape?
You'll have to get past the guard out there. The wireless operator will be sent off duty. You will find 3 boats tied to the mission landing stage.
But the boats are always guarded.
I know. But the guard has changed at 2 o'clock. I will delay the replacement as long as I can. So your people must be down by the river at 2 o'clock.
Why are you doing this?
You have less than an hour.
What do you want? Haven't you done enough harm already?
I saw Tiong come out of the hut. I want to know why he came to see you.
You expect me to tell you? After the testimony you gave against the doctor?
I couldn't help it. They made me do it.
What do you mean they made you?
I told you. My family's in the north. They're in their hands.
You mean Taeyong told you what to say?
No, Lieutenant Tang told me what to say. I suppose it comes to the same thing.
I'm not so sure it does. Come on. We've got a lot of work to do.
What do you mean?
Look, I want you to collect the nurses, the children, and the patients. When I give you the word, you're to get them all down to the river. And be very careful. Getting them past those guards is not going to be easy, right?
Hello, my friend. What are you doing here?
Courtesy of Major Taeyong. He's been ordered to evacuate, burn the mission. He's offered us a chance to escape.
What?
Now, they changed the guards at 2 o'clock. We're to have everyone down to the river before then.
It's not possible.
It's our only chance, but there's no time to lose. Come on.
No. No. I will not run away.
Doctor, what about Suan and the others? He's not going to let them go unless you come with us.
I don't understand why this concern
Look,
about
if
me.
he's prepared to do this, you must take this chance, and quickly.
All right. Where's Suan?
Waking the others.
Come on, children. You must be very, very quiet, because we're going down to the river. What about the doctor? He's coming too. Now be quiet.
Sister Anne.
Tell Moretti to stay down at the river. I'll handle everything here.
What is happening here? Where are the children, the patients? The place is deserted.
Lieutenant, I must remind you.
I am ignoring your commands, Major. I am placing you under arrest. Guards!
Get out, I'll handle the guards. And go line! Straight. Straight.
Out of the boat, Doctor. Quickly! Anyone else?